Hello, beautiful souls. This is Ona with Art of Awakening. Excuse that very blank intro. I was still kind of getting used to the software here. All right, so welcome to this May 2022 energy video. I'm going to be sharing some downloads around the energies of May 2022, as well as just a little bit of an overall view of what's happening right now in the world energetically, as well as I'll be pulling a card or two from my spirit animal awareness deck just to support these energies of May that we're moving into. Okay, so first of all, what about these energies? And I think we're going to do just a little bit of timeline jumping here, or time travel to be looking at the overall context of the energies of May 2022 before we go into the nitty-gritty. So as you're, I'm sure, aware, if you've been following me at all, is right now we're working on this energetic bifurcation happening on the planet right now, with the ascension energies strongly starting to move upwards and the fall of the old energies, right, that we're really seeing those crumbling at this time. And so we've got these dual energies and each energy currents moving. And this is not new news, right? If you've been following me or any of a number of other people, you're aware of this. But we just ended a very, very important juncture, starting with the February 2nd gateway, the 2-2 gateway, moving through the February 22nd and all the way to the April 22nd gateway that we just moved through. Okay, and why are these important? Because they're working with the energies of the number 4 and also the number 2, right? And 4 being a multiple of 2. 2, and especially 2-2, carries the energy of the master builder. Okay, it's this master builder number, and this is really strongly coming forward right now in this kind of springtime juncture of 2022 as an activation time of huge activations. And what I've noticed is because it's really all around our purpose, our sole purpose in building the new infrastructure that is going to support the energies of the 5D earth that we're building right now. Okay, and so what I've come to understand, what's been given to me to understand and to share, is that this has been, the last few months have been a period of very intense downloads that we've been receiving, right? Energetic activations to help us to move forward into our soul purpose. And so this going to feel different ways to different people. And by the way, anything that I say, just take what resonates with you, leave the rest, because I'm just relaying what's coming to me and through me. But if you experience something different, then maybe we're on a little bit different wavelength. But if this resonates with you, what I've been, yes, I'm going to, Samit, I'm going to be sharing some Akashic guidance too. So, and I am sharing right now kind of what I've been receiving around this whole energy time since February, is that it's been a time of great activations, and you may or may not have received clarity yet on what your soul mission is, but I'm feeling is like this has been a time of really receiving activations around soul mission. So depending on where you are in your particular journey, it may feel like you've received immense clarity around, your future path, what you're going to be doing from here forward. Or it may feel like a time of upheaval, things falling away. It may feel actually quite confusing, and just be aware and just be assured that you have received the downloads. It's like we've been receiving our assignments, right, of our star seed or soul assignments in a much more direct way than before. And yes, it's a test of patience for sure. But if you're not clear yet, it's just that you've received them, and they need to unfold for you. Okay, so the reason this is such an intense time is, like, we're going to step back a little bit and look at the even bigger picture now. And this is information that just recently came to me, is that this is a shift that is of the same magnitude as what happened way, 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 way back in prehistory. Um, if you look at the indigenous cultures around the world, they all have they're all different. They all interpret it differently, but they all have very, very um, unified a unified way of working with the earth, right? And of being in harmony with the earth. Okay. And they all, what it really boils down to is knowledge of and the wisdom of natural law, of how to respect natural law and how to work with natural law. And a big part of that is the respect for free will. Okay, so any of these cultures will respect an individual's freedom, personal freedom. Okay, and then at some point, because energy always wants, consciousness always wants to expand, and human consciousness is one way that the divine consciousness exists on this planet, and exists in a very, very conscious way. So humanity has a very important role to play in the consciousness of the planet. And so if you go back way, way, way back, all people around the planet lived in harmony because they were aware of natural law. But it was all these different tribes and different peoples, and not a lot of it, it was pretty just kind of individual tribes. And so consciousness always wanting to expand, it's very similar to when life on earth went from like a one-celled organism to multi-celled organisms. This started happening in human culture, right? So the various tribes started to come together and form city-states. And what this did was it created a shift in the power matrix, right? And because in order for that to happen, certain individuals started to direct and control what other individuals did. And the way that it happened was they tended to, you could say that they tended to control other people, or people gave up their free will to these people. Okay, it's both. And so regardless, what happened was the people started to working together and building larger communities, larger structures, just all sorts of interesting things happened. And it led eventually to the nation states and so forth. Now, I am not going to address any role that ETs may have had to play in this, and that is a whole different subject. This is not something that I've been given any kind of information on, so I'm just going to leave that whole block of information off to the side. But just suffice it to say, we went from kind of scattered tribal way of living to a lot of these city states and nations and empires building, right? And that has been the MO for humanity for several thousand years, right? Consciousness will build and grow and evolve until it reaches a threshold. And that's what it's doing again. Okay, because this whole kind of nation state, huge building, it depends upon kind of it, or it has grown. The way it's grown has depended upon free will being exploited, right? And it doesn't have to be that way, but that is the way that it did happen. And now we're coming to this juncture where the ancient people and the indigenous people know that you can't go against natural law without bringing ruin upon yourself eventually. Okay. And what this city, state, nation building did was to create larger nexuses of power that could sustain that kind of going against free will for a long time, because it was drawing on the energy and feeding on the energy of multiple people. Okay, but it's come to a halt. It's come to the point where humanity's got the choice. We can either continue the way we're going, which is this downward kind of death agenda, right? And this, we're coming to the bifurcation, or we can reclaim our relationship, right, with the rest of the consciousness of Gaia, come back into alignment with natural law, and then we're going to be able to kind of just like the city-state building was kind of a unification of multiple tribes, we're going to be able to unify all of humanity, um, in a harmonious way, right? So there is one faction right now on the planet that wants to hold on to those old energies of control, and some of those want to, because it's inevitable, we're going to be working as a whole planetary consciousness. The old energies want to do that in a way that controls and holds on. And the new consciousness is going to be doing that in a way that in which the free will of every individual is respected, right? So that we're all working together in cooperation. And this may take a long time, right? We don't know how long it'll take, to reach full fruition, probably beyond all of our lifetimes. But that's the juncture we're at right now, is that this shift is really moving into high gear. And that's why we've been receiving all these activations over the past few months. And so, Anita, I'll answer that because it's a really good question, because that really, she asked any insight on how to move forward with teachings or school for children. Let me just address this in real quickly here, because this is really, really crucial, right? The reason that indigenous cultures are able to be so stable and work in such in harmony is that they instill from a very young age wisdom and knowledge around natural law to the children, to the young people. Because as a child develops, if you look at child development, they go through phases, right? And sometimes they're very resistant, right? And other times they are really ready to soak up information and really bring that into their souls and their beings and their minds. And so when you are able to work with very young children and help to teach them in ways that are in harmony, that is crucial to this building of a new age, a new 5D existence for humanity. So insight on how to move forward, I think we're going to look at just kind of, I'm just going to refer you to the general insights that are coming in, because each one of us has our own kind of soul agenda or assignments that we've been giving. If working with children is one of yours, this is going to apply, but just keep in mind that it's going to be different for everybody. Like I personally am just being asked to work in different ways through business and through marketing, and also through this channel. And if you're called to work with children, that's awesome. It's going to be the same sequence of listening, right? That's going to help you. Okay, so I'm just going to share some personal experiences here, and you may relate to some of this. This last week or so that we've been moving through has been kind of like the last flush of this whole gateway from February 2nd through the April 22nd, this kind of master builder getting the activations. I have found, and I've been talking to other star seeds, and it seems like there's been really a lot of intense energy in this especially in this last week to 10 days. A lot of challenging energy. And what came to me when I looked into it, when I asked my guidance about that, was that it was, as we've been getting these assignments and so forth, this has also flushed up a lot of any old resistance that's still clinging. This past week or so, those energies have really been flushing up as resistances, anything that's lower vibrational that's still hanging on in your field, in your environment. If you've been feeling kind of unhinged, that's why. And just with this new moon that we're in right now, going into Taurus, hopefully I'm feeling like those energies, I'm already feeling a lot lighter. I'm feeling like those energies will be kind of moving through and harmonizing a little bit more. Okay, so moving into this new moon in Taurus. We're starting to move into from having received the downloads to starting to process them. And so my personal experience is apparently I've got a soul mission that involves a lot of moving parts, right? And which has always been for the case for me. I've been always juggling things, but it's starting to feel really aligned, and I'm finally seeing a really, really clear vision about how all the moving parts work together. You may not experience this. Most people don't have as much of a complex thing going on. You may have one thing that you're really being guided to focus on, and if so, you'll know it, and that's great. But if you are a person that is guided, is working with a lot of different things at once, just realize that you have it within you. You've received the downloads for how those are going to start working together, right? The plan is in place, and whether or not you already see it, you may already start to see all these connections where things will work together. This also goes for relationships. These last couple years, and especially these last few months, maybe even for some people these last few weeks, either triggering or they're working through or releasing relationships that are karmic in nature for you, and you're going to start more and more seeing relationships that are dharmic in nature. These are your soul partners that you'll be working with to work on or accomplish your soul mission in this lifetime. So you may be seeing some big shifts or changes in relationships if you haven't already. Okay. But getting back to, if you are one of these people that's being asked to work with a lot of different energies, or to do certain kind of multitasking things, personally, what I've found is, like, I've kind of downloaded my soul mission kind of plan, right? And I'm seeing all these parts, and it's like, oh my God, it's like looking at this huge sandwich, right? Because it's like there's this and this and this and this, and in my case, it's multiple businesses, and I'm being asked to kind of build in a big way, and get out in the world in a little bit bigger way, sometimes behind the scenes, right? So it doesn't mean I'm going to be out there a lot, but there's a lot going on. And I'm looking at all I have on my plate, and it's like this huge sandwich that's about like 16 million layers, right? And so if you're feeling like that, or even if it's one thing that you're being asked to focus on that may seem like such a huge thing, that it'd be like, how do I even start? Where do I even get started with this? You're not alone in that. And the spirit animal that I think is the one that's wanting to come forward to support us in that is actually serpent or snake. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably have noticed there's been a lot of serpent energy coming forward. That is because the snake is symbolic of the kundalini, the life force energy. Okay, and this is the energy that we're really working with right now. That's the energy of creation, of expansion of consciousness, right? And this is snake in its positive aspect. Of course, it's got a toxic negative polarity too, right? Which we have to be aware of. And I think that's, any of those negative energies that have been flushed up or whatever, that's that toxicity, right? It's just par for the course. So we need to just be really aware of when we are looking to really expand and grow and connect with that life force, that sometimes those toxic things will come in, and that we have to make the conscious choice to align with the positive polarity, the life force, the higher vibrational things, and then actively separate ourselves, or just say be gone to those lower energies, right? To recognize that those lower energies are not part of our soul mission to align with, and just say, hey, that's not mine. And then ask guidance, what can I do to resolve those, flush those out, banish them, whatever it is. And this piece of cedar that was, I went for a walk right before this, and I had been thinking about cedar because I just read a wonderful book that was talking about the different native plants, but this is one that came up, and I'm just wanting to share this with you because it's a really protective plant. So working with the plant world, working with the spirits, learning to speak with the spirits and ask for help is huge, right? In holding on to that vibration. So I'm going to share some Akashic downloads in a little bit, but first I want to share, just get back to that sandwich of things. If you're facing that, if you're feeling overwhelmed at all, because this has been such an intense last couple months. And this juncture we're in right now is really a good time to kind of feel into, well, let's regroup. Okay. So part of regrouping is looking at everything we've got on our plate and sort of feeling into, well, how are we going to approach this? And so when I asked my guides about this, they said, well, there's several ways that you can work, through consuming a sandwich. One is look at your plate and look at your sandwich, and you might want to take out some of those fillings that really aren't harmonious with the other ones, right? And there may be a lot of things that you've been sort of like getting like, this would be great, this would be great, this would be great. But if you sit for a while, and instead of trying to eat the sandwich right away, just look at it and observe it for a little bit and observe your body and what feels good, right? We might want to take out the pickles. We might want to maybe scrape off some of that peanut butter and take off some of that salami, and maybe one cheese is enough. We don't need 5 types of cheeses, that kind of thing, right? So look at what you have going on, and anything that doesn't feel 100%, anything that you can just take off your plate altogether. You feel into the vibration, and feel into your body, and feel into your heart and your soul. Ask your guides, what is the really high priority? What are the things that really want to happen, want to unfold, where I'm feeling just like wow about, right? And wherever you're putting your energy and you really feel it just flowing easily, that's usually a direction that that you're being guided to do. Okay, so anything that feels kind of sticky in the way of that, if you can just take it off your plate, and there are some things that we might want to just get rid of. Even if maybe your next step is a cross-country move, and maybe you're like, I need to move my whole house, and it's like I can't afford it because it's so expensive or whatever. Consider that what's really important is that you get from here to there. And maybe you don't need the whole house. Maybe the universe is abundant, and if you sell everything you've got right now and you get there, and there perhaps there will be the exact right things showing up for you when you get there. Okay, so just an example. Or if maybe you don't need that extra job or that extra whatever it is, right? Another way, because sometimes it's like, well, you can pull out some layers, but there may still be a lot of layers on there. There may still be a sandwich bigger than you can eat. Another way to do it is to cut up the sandwich, and some of the pieces you might be able to save till later, put in the fridge, right? So we don't have to do everything at once that we're being guided to do. And then the third way that they gave me to deal with overwhelm or feeling like you've got a lot on your plate is to call in their neighbors, call in your family and friends. They can help you eat it, right? To delegate, to hire, to offload some of this responsibility to other people. Because remember, we're all in this together, and many of us have soul missions that depend on each other, depend on us working together in order to facilitate the flow of energy that we're here to do. Okay, so personally, I'm being kind of like guided to build a lot of businesses, but I'm also being guided big time to build a team. So I just want to mention I'm hiring a virtual assistant, a content manager. It's actually for a whole constellation of businesses, but especially for an agency that I'm resurrecting, a marketing agency that I'm running. So if you have any interest in that, I will post that after this is done. I'll post it in the comments below, just the job application thing. All right, so that's an aside, but let's look at the Akashic guidance that I was given about May. Because I think Sumit asked about that. The first thing that they really told me was about focused vision. Okay, they said what you focus your mind on will come into being. So we're moving into a time where our abilities as creators, our alignment as creator beings, and just the general consciousness of the earth is really supporting very fast manifestation. Okay. And that really depends on, your vision, your beliefs, and the vibration you choose to hold. It's a matter of choice, right? So what you focus your mind on will come into being, and that holds whether it's conscious or unconscious. So really big for this month is to, if you're not already, find some practice that will help to train your mind to stay, to hold that consciousness, right? Mind body work. And they're talking about balance and focus. They suggest tree posture, the yoga posture of the tree. It might be a really nice one. And the whole practice of spiritual discipline. So getting that mind and body to work together to overcome any kind of body tensions or trauma that's stored in the body, and also to train the consciousness or higher mind, right, in order to choose the higher consciousness way of being. They say every thought is an act of manifestation. Thoughts are really powerful at this time, and awareness around your thoughts is essential. Awareness around vibration is essential. If you find yourself thinking negative thoughts or ones that are not supportive of the highest good or of the outcome you desire, think the opposite. Okay. Direct your mind to transmute any negative thoughts to the opposite, working with the law of polarity here, morph them into something positive. Okay. We are alchemists, right? We can do this, but it takes focused mind. All right. And then the other thing that they were telling me about the energies of May 2022 was that this is a new moon. This new moon cycle is a get to work cycle, they say. You will have um, navigated the tumultuous energies of the April Aries moon cycle. The Taurus cycle brings a calmer, more level-headed energy to play for those aware enough to stay out of the fields of illusion now being broadcast through your media channels. Okay, so really feel into, your own truth, your own vibrations, your own guidance, right? Tune into your inner media channel, right? Your higher one. Okay, it says to remember the beauty side of Taurus. Taurus is the sign of Venus, right? The goddess of love and beauty. And she's also the goddess of money. Keep that in mind. They say, remember the beauty side of Taurus, allow that side to shine forth and be experienced along with the money side. Both are important, and they are most certainly not mutually exclusive. Okay, so beauty and money, these are things that we can feel into. And as you meditate on these things and bringing more of them into your life, make sure that you really feel, bring in positive emotions around that, right? Because there may be a lot of fear around money. We want to really be careful and aware of our emotional body and the state it's in when we think about money, and especially money manifestation. Okay. And they say also a good practice for this cycle is to sit in stillness. Allow good things to come to you. This can happen easily if you do as you are guided and focus your energy where it counts the most. So they're just saying, really, really tune into your inner guidance. Come to stillness. Get into that magnetic energy, right? If you really focus on your vision and bring in the positive emotions around that, breathe out, use your breath to expel anything that's negative, and ask for the guidance. Ask the spirit guides. We all have spirit guides that are here for us, but we have to ask them, right? The positive ones are always going to respect our free will, and they're going to just wait for us to invite them to help us. But that help is there. And as always, I've been always guided to share that, expect miracles. When you start getting into that state of expectation of miracles, that's what triggers miracles to happen. The miraculous, synchronicities and that kind of thing. It's really not miracle at all. I mean, it's not miracle in the sense of things that are beyond reality. It's the way the laws of the universe works, right? So being in that state of expectation aligns with the laws of the universe so that we can manifest what we're desiring, right? Okay, so let me pull a card or two. This is my Spirit Animal Awareness deck. It is available on Etsy if you want a deck of your own. The first one I'm going to pull is Sea Lion. And I think the big thing that's coming to mind right now is the breath work, right? The breath is such an important part of holding one's vibration and of manifesting, right? Breath is the life force energy. It's the atman, or the prana that moves through us, and through breath control we can learn to work with that life force energy, right? So any practice that works with the breath can really help you. It says grace under pressure, self-control, right? With any of these things that you're being asked to do, healthy competition too, right? um, and also dream recall for Sea Lion. So pay attention to your dreams, and you can also ask for the dreams, to remember your dreams. The more you work with your guides and ask for that dream recall, I want to start a dream journal. Okay, and I'm going to pull another one for May 2022. And this one is sloth. Again, this whole idea of contemplation, right? Breath and contemplation, so important right now. This is this beautiful Taurus energy, right? It's an earth sign. It can be a very feminine sign. It's really beautiful sign for contemplation, and also for kind of step by step, right? I'm really getting that this is a time of laying foundations. And so if you're building something new, take your time with it. Feel into each step of the way. Feel into, what feels good to bring into it, and what maybe is some kind of urgency thing that really doesn't belong there. Okay, and then finally, I'm going to pull one more card to support the energies of May 2022. And this is Dove. This is the card of peace and deep, deep inner peace. So just know that these animals are all telling us the same thing here. Okay. The more we center and balance, connect with the great void, the inner mother, which is a place of immense calmness and stillness, and really understand that we are held in the lap of the great mother, right? That we can breathe here. We can take a little breather right now. Allow ourselves to rest a little bit, but also to kind of just like the heart rests as it beats, we can do that. Okay, so staying in that heart coherence is a beautiful, beautiful practice. Breath work, pranayama, and any kind of, um, peacefulness, mindfulness is going to be very, very helpful, not only through this month, but to set the stage for the months ahead. Okay, so many, many blessings to you. Thank you so much for watching, and just have a wonderful, wonderful month of May. I will keep you posted. And remember, you were born to be free.